Welcome back, YouTube. Tutor UK. Tough video. Thanks to Claygraphics VR. Top 10 games of all time. This is not easy. This is not easy. I'd like to say thanks to Clayton, but I think it's a poison chalice. And I don't usually get involved in these type of videos, especially historically, because I just didn't have the time. You know, it'd be like I'd have limited daylight, a limited time, but see, the room's changed. It does allow me more flexibility. And Clayton very kindly tagged me into it. So all you bastards that didn't bother, screw you. See, Clayton's a good soul, although I wish he probably hadn't done. And I've watched quite a lot of these different people's channels, and I think everyone has the same sort of sentiment. It could change, and it'll probably change. And there's probably loads I've forgotten. But I did set myself like at least one rule, which is I had to own the game. So, you know, I mean, I could reel off loads of arcade games, but I don't own them. Although there kind of is one arcade game in here, but I do own a version of it, well, like multiple versions of it, but I've only chosen one. And also, it's not just, you know, your top 10 games doesn't necessarily mean that they're the best games ever. You know, this is not the top 10 best games ever released. You know, because someone puts on there like Barbie's fucking Explorer on the PlayStation 1. That might be one of their favourite games. I'm guessing that's how it's worked. That's how I've looked at it anyway. And also I've sort of thought to myself, in some of these, it's what really stood out in terms of the actual game, and also like nostalgia and replayability, like games that I would go back to. Because let's face it, there's some games that are great games, but you play them once and you probably wouldn't touch them again. Like The Last of Us, you know, I looked up there, and I've got like the Joel and Ellie editions on PlayStation 3 and stuff like that. And I enjoyed playing that. I thought that it was a really good game. But would I go back and play it? Probably not. Stuff like Uncharted series, you know, I enjoyed them. I'm talking a lot a bit modern here, obviously. But they're the kind of games that spring to mind, where some of these ones here, you know, even when I'm sort of testing some of the consoles and like systems, you still whack it on. So without further ado, and these are in no order, absolutely no order, no way I'm doing an order. But first up, talking about testing consoles and just playing it and then finding hours have gone by, it's Tetris. I defy anybody to put this into a Game Boy. So if you get a Game Boy from the charity shop, the car boot, the market, the wherever, you put this in. Oh, I'll just use this to test it. Fucking, you end up playing it. I'll do anyway, and I've said that before. Tetris is. I mean, I should really get like a nice box complete example of that, because it does. For me, obviously, nostalgia-wise, it was the packing game that I got with my Game Boy back in the day, and one of the only handful of games I ever owned. But my God, I played the death out of that, and I still do now. Obviously, even on the NES, the NES. But yeah, Tetris, fantastic game. Next up, number 2, but again, not in any order. Changed the landscape, I think. Surpassed number 3 in every single way, and I think it's always a toss-up from a lot of people in terms of which is their favourite or best of these games. And we're talking, of course, Super Mario World. Got 2 examples there, because obviously some people want to play the. Obviously, mine was the PAL version. Again, packing game with the NES back in the day. Really upped the game from Super Mario Bros. 3. I didn't play Super Mario Bros. 3 on the NES, as nowhere near as much as this. I think because my mate John was on it at the NES, I didn't. And I'm sure he got the NES after he got the SNES, and I think he got Mario Bros. 3, and it was just not the same. I think a lot of people did it the right order. But oh God, the hours and hours and the magazines, uncovering the secrets. Just so many memories locked into this. You know, getting all 96 stars, and then my younger brother, coming along and deleting my save game, and just stuff. You know, like I said again, just memories and nostalgia locked into this game. Absolutely superb. And like I say, for me, at that point in time, was a massive game changer. It was just unheard of. Now, weirdly enough, and I've said this before, and I did watch a video, and it popped up as a recommended from an arcade channel that I was watching. But I first played this in the arcades on the Nintendo Entertainment Super System. And I've mentioned this before, and I don't think anybody really remembers them, but it was in Skegness, and the guy restored one. Now, apparently, he said there was only like a couple of thousand ever made. So God knows how Skegness in the UK got hold of them, but they did, and I distinctly remember playing on it. Because I remember it having the purple, the American, you know, the sort of violet, like the purpley Parma violets, that's the word I'm looking for, buttons and stuff, which was always weird, because in the magazines when it's come to the UK, it was always sort of the Super Famicom colourways. But yeah, like playing it in the arcades, and it's like, man, this has to come out, you know, and it did, and obviously just the memories, superb game. So yeah, Super Mario World. Right, next up, sticking with the arcades. Again, genre defining. Didn't start the genre, but literally took it by the scruff of the neck and just kicked the shit out of it. And we're talking about Street Fighter, or Street Fighter 2. Again, this is just an example, because obviously this has got all of the various different versions running across it. But yeah, what a game! What a game! Memories of this in the arcades. First time I ever seen it. Again, John and me, I dropped out of our heads, and even to this day we can still remember. I was Zangief and he was Dalslim, and when they appeared, because obviously you only see the portraits, and then when they appeared on the screen, we just pissed ourselves laughing. But obviously, you know, time truly told that obviously Zangief slow and fast, Dalslim quick and nimble. But yeah, arcade wise, just hours and pounds, God knows how much money was spent, dropped into this. Ridiculous. And then obviously the Super NES release, just give it new legs as well. And then you have all the other iterations of it, and you know, it didn't stop there. But for the time and when it come out in the arcades, and I know a lot of people a little bit older than me didn't really like it, because it changed the arcades. It changed, and it obviously flooded the market with so many clones, and some good, some bad. You know, Neo Geo SNK did a lot of great copies, if you like, or clones of Street Fighter. But yeah, defining, and so many great memories of playing it in the arcades. You know, watching people. I remember there was a guy, again I mentioned this before, in Skegness, and he was a master with Guile. You just stood down and watched people play it, especially people who knew how to play it back then. Fantastic. Right, next up, not arcades, not consoles, a bit of 16-bit micro. I don't know if this will surprise some people. I know there's probably one person that's going to be really happy. But this game, I don't know what it was about it. And it was also the movies. It's a movie tie-in game. It just got hold of me. It sparked real interest in not only the genre and these types of games, but also Egyptology. And a bit crinkly, excuse me, but Indiana Jones: The Last Crusade, the graphic adventure. This is the Amiga version. It is all complete as well. But oh my god, I just wanted to play this game all the time. Obviously, I didn't have the Amiga at this time. John did, with my friend John. And he weren't too into it. He liked them a little bit, but he weren't that into them, because they're not quick games. But I always wanted to play it. You know, and I'd pore over the magazines, Amiga Action, when they had all the walkthroughs and stuff like that. And weirdly enough, back then, as like kids, it was amazing that we actually worked out how to save on the Amiga. You needed an extra disc. Never completed it back then, but I did later on as an adult via an emulator. But yeah, I had to get this back into the collection. Again, it just holds so many memories just watching the movie, and this follows the movie so well from a point-and-click game. I know a lot of some of the people's is Fate of Atlantis. That is another great game. Again, I wouldn't mind a copy of that, but I played that on the PC. A friend at school, his mum got a Packard Bell 386 and was able to run Fate of Atlantis and Monkey Island 2, LeChuck's Revenge, because it had to be fast enough. But that's a story for another day. So yeah, Indiana Jones Last Crusade, graphic adventure. Right, next up, I don't need to say too much about this game. This was the the third game I ever owned on the Super Nintendo, and oh god, blew me away. I mean, again, hours and hours spent on this game. Magazines bought, trying to find all the hidden secrets to it and everything else. Legends of Zelda: Link to the Past, and it was the American version I had. So the story with this is basically when Street Fighter 2 came out on the SNES, it was like 60 odd quid, I think. And John and myself, we went halves on it. And we played it to death, essentially played it to death. John was just bored of it. So I said, look, can I buy your half out at a later date, like maybe a month later or whatever? And then I took Street Fighter 2 into the shop, part exchanged it for that. I think I might have actually just swapped it, because I think it was still that rare to get hold, because we got one first release. And I swapped it for this, and I never looked back, to be honest, never looked back. An absolutely iconic game. You know, if you don't know Zelda: Link to the Past, then you know business. You know business being in the retro scene. But again, hours and hours sunk into this. Loved it. Still love it today. Yeah, the music from this game. There we go. Right, next up, something slightly different. Might surprise a few people. This game, didn't play it in the arcades, but it was more of a 16-bit micro on the Amiga, funnily enough. But I obviously don't have a copy of that. But I do have 2 of the copies, probably more somewhere else. But these 2 stand out. And it is Pang, or in this case, Superpang Pompomil. It's Pang. Premise of this game is so simple, but it's so addictive and it's so easy to play, and you just find yourself just having another go, and if you die, it's your own stupid fault. It's that kind of game, and that's what I always liked about it. 2-player is really good, because that's what we played on the Amiga. But a fantastic game. Like I say, never really played it. I don't think I even seen it in the arcades. I don't think, or if we did at that point, we probably had it on the Amiga, so I never put any money into it. But yeah. Again, great music on Pang. You know, don't knock the music, and you travel across the world, different locations, always mixing it up. Sort of a little bit puzzly, I suppose, but fantastic game. I say 2-player or even 1-player, just to sit back and not think too much. Probably a recurring theme. Right, sticking. Next up. Changed everything for me, this game. If I had to say a game that was probably my favourite game, or my best game, I don't know what word I'm looking for here, but the one that really shifted my gaming habits, I suppose, it'd be Phantasy Star on the Master System. The first real proper JRPG I ever played. Well, I didn't know what a JRPG was then. I just knew it was a role-playing game. I always had an interest in like Dungeons and Dragons and that kind of stuff. But you know, I know back then it was the Games Workshop, the board games. But this kind of took that, all them numbers and all the sort of confusion out of it, and just digitalised it and made it a real world. I suppose it brought the world to life. But yeah, my friend, it's a weird story, because John first had this. John bought this and he didn't really like it, and then it went around a few of the friends and ended up with my other friend Darren, who's sadly not with us anymore. And that's where I played the bulk of it with my friend Darren. And we ended up having completing it, but we used the guide from the S magazine, because there is one part in this where I have no idea how you would have worked it out. So if you don't want to know the spoiler, then skip this bit. But basically, Maya, the cat, you have to feed her a nut but you have to find the nut in like the most obscure of places, and there's actually never any reference to where you have to look. But yeah, without doing that, because then Maya grows wings and you fly to Lassig's castle. I think that's right. But yeah, you wouldn't have fucking worked that out. But yeah, so many memories, so many hours, and obviously with my late great friend Darren playing this game, absolutely obsessed with it. And even to this day, it's just awesome, awesome game. So yeah, Phantasy Star. That really started me off on the role-playing RPG, JRPGs, whatever you want to call it. It just opened them worlds. So hopping back, next up, hopping back to the arcades. Obviously, I don't own this game. I don't own the arcade game with this. Do you know what? I probably wouldn't want to own the arcade game. It has its faults, but this is not about the best arcade game or the best version or the best iteration of this game. It's more about the memories that it holds. And that one is Double Dragon. The music alone on this, like obviously this is the Mega Drive version, but again it's just for a prop. It was the arcade game. There was an arcade where we used where I used to go on holiday with my friend John, again, called Sheila's Arcade. I was tempted to call the room Sheila's Arcade, but there's no arcades in it. They always used to say it to me, "Oh, when are you going to start Sheila's Arcade up?" Because obviously it's collecting game stuff, but it's not really an arcade. It's more Sheila's shop. But in Sheila's in Skegness, Adam Shucks 16. He used to go. They didn't realise what the name of it was called, but we did. You used to have Shinobi. You'd hear this. Numerous games. Just the sounds. But first time we played Double Dragon was there. I think the first time we completed it was there as well. And it was just the whole thing where you could just kick the shit out of somebody else, kick the shit out of each other, and try not to. And then you get to the end and you have to fight and stuff. But yeah, obviously the arcade game's got its faults, you know, terrible slowdown, this, that, and the other. But it was defining for us and myself, just in terms of those side-scrolling beat-em-ups, the music and everything else. You know, and it's had some good follow-ups. I remember when Double Dragon 2 came out in the arcade, confused the fucking hell out of us. Because obviously it reverted back to the Renegade control method, which is actually a better control style. But yeah, it took a while to get used to Double Dragon 2. But, you know, like I say, Double Dragon 1 or 2, either of them, superb games. But like I say, it's just more the memories. Next up, nearly there now, guys. This one, I was thinking on this because it's like, I was at 9. The first 9 were relatively easy. And the last one, it was kind of like thinking back to systems. Obviously, like I said, I had to sort of own the game, or own a version of the game. And just looking around and just thinking, you know, what did I have when? What did I play? What do I enjoy playing? And a lot of people would probably choose the game that came out before this in a very, very similar vein. Which I did like, but I got on better with this one. I don't know what it was. I enjoyed this one more. I don't know if people would say it's the better game. I don't know, but I just enjoyed playing it. I've never completed it. I need to go back. And that's BanjoKazooie on the N64. And I know a lot of people don't like the N64. Dave Burstall. Retro game played badly. But there was something about the way Rare introduced this game, the style. I know it's a bit of a collect them up, find them up, but I just sunk so many hours into it, and I never managed to complete it because what happened with this, I think I might have got over halfway through. I can't remember now, but then I got the Z64, which is like a sort of copying device, and I ended up just downloading a load of ROMs, and I never went back to playing. It's that old adage, you know, too much choice and you just don't play anything. But obviously I had Mario 64 at the same time, but I just gravitated towards this more. I don't know why. I'm not sure if it come out afterwards and it was like the newer game, so I just played it more. I don't really know. But yeah, I had a lot more gaming mechanics and a little bit more twist to it, I suppose. But yeah, so BanjoKazooie, unusual choice. Right, the last game, and probably no surprise to some people, it's another JRPG. For me, the best one. I'm going to say the best one out of the lot at the minute. I've not played any of the latter releases. Some might say 7 is the better game, and 7 was on the, again, it was like that BanjoKazooie, but this one was always going to be in there. And it's Final Fantasy 3 or Final Fantasy 6 in Japan, but this literally, I mean, again, I've told the story about this game. It's not my original, unfortunately. I had a Saturday job working in the butchers. My dad's butchers, cleaning up and stuff. 80 quid back then. They all thought I was fucking mad. I got a shop in Coventry to pre-order it for me, and I think the guy thought I was fucking joking, but he did. He ordered it, and I think he was even more surprised when he turned up with 80 quid to buy it. And I played this to absolute death again. Magazines, I remember, I think it was Game Pro. Bought a copy of Game Pro that had a section in there. There is a guide I want to get. I've since now found out there's actually a whole guide, but there was a little section that had some tips on it, and I just bought the magazine just for that bit. And since now I've found there's an actual proper guide, and I am trying to hunt a copy of that down from America. But again, postage is the killer. But I completed this back in the day. One of the weird quirks on this game is, and it only applies to the ending, if you have the wrong type of adapter, it crashes the game. So you actually complete it, and then it crashes the game. And I must have completed it like 10 times, and it kept crashing. And again, not only then later on with the internet did I work that out that it was the actual adapter, not anything I was or wasn't doing. But yeah, the old Moogles, just so many memories of this game. The music again, the orchestral scores in this game, just fantastic. But like I say, for me it's Final Fantasy 3. I know a lot of people 7 I had when I got the PlayStation, because obviously I was obsessed with Final Fantasy at this point. And then the PlayStation came out, didn't it? Because obviously there was talk about the next Final Fantasy coming out on the Nintendo console. It didn't come out on the PlayStation. I had to get the PlayStation with Final Fantasy 7 when that released. And I never completed Final Fantasy 7 either. I got to the point where I think you fight Sephiroth in the crater, and again something else happened. I think I might have chipped the PlayStation by then, and rinse and repeat. Too many games and too much choice. Didn't really get to finish it, so I need to go back and do that as well. But that is my top 10, guys. I meant to tag people. The people if I were to mention, they don't even make videos, so there's no point in tagging them. It's an open tag. Don't feel obliged. Well, no one's going to feel obliged because I'm not going to tag anybody. But like I say, it's interesting to sort of see, like I say, you can make your own little rules up. Own it, don't own it, played it, whatever, But yeah, open tag, guys. Thanks for listening, thanks for watching, and I'll speak to you soon. Bye-bye.